Hello everyone, my name is Jane and today I'm going to talk about the first books that I never read the sequel of. So my series reading is getting pretty much out of control. I don't have a list of all the series that I'm reading and I really want to do a list for a while. So today I just thought about going through all of the series because currently all of the series that I'm reading I read only the first book of, which is crazy. Like I didn't continue any series, but I actually think that my problem is that I do have a lot of series that I'm reading, but most of them aren't really interesting to me. I did have a lot of problem finding books that I actually love this year. I do feel like it's getting better and better, but I still don't feel like I have those series that are my all-time favorites, and I really want to DNF a lot of series and just to release them from my mind and to know that I can actually start series that I might actually love and not be stuck on the series that I don't love. So yes, today I'm just going to organize the series and to set priorities for my series and actually try to finish the series that are more interesting to me and to actually DNF series that are not interesting to me. So yes, I think that I'm going to do it by the order that I read the series. I don't have series from before 2021. All of my currently read series are from 2021. So I'm just going to go to Goodreads and to start from January and see from there. So the first series that I started to read in January was A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. I read this book again in January, so it's been 10 months since I read this book. This is a YA murder mystery. This is a first book in a trilogy and currently all the 3 books are out. The fourth and the last one was only released a month or 2 ago, and I actually really enjoyed this book in January. Like I gave it 4 stars. It was such a fun thriller. I was really surprised from it, but I forgot about it. So if you saw my TBR, you saw that I do want to read the sequel this month in October. I'm aiming to read it this month, and if not this month, so really soon, because it's been already so long since I read it. And like honestly, I do remember what happened, but because it's been so long, I am less excited to read the sequel, so I want to get to it as quick as possible because I did enjoy the first book. I think there is a really big chance for me to love the second one as well. This is the second one, and yes, shocking, those aren't matching covers. I'm actually going to unhaul this one because this is the US cover. I'm going to buy the first one in the UK cover so they will match. But yes, I don't have the third one. I'm also not planning to buy the third one until I will read the second one because I'm not sure if I will want to keep reading the series. Again, I'm less excited to read the series. I do feel like me as a mood reader, it will be harder for me to pick it because it was so long since I read the first book. But again, the reason is because I really enjoyed the first book and I think I will actually really enjoy the second one. I just need to make myself want to read it. So this is like a series that I want to continue, but I'm not really excited. So yes, this is the first one. Okay, so the second series that I read was actually in April, and this was City of Ghosts, which is the first book in the Cassette Black trilogy by Victoria Schwab. And Cassette Black, the whole trilogy, is a middle grade horror trilogy. I read it in an audiobook. I actually enjoyed it, but I gave it 3 stars. Like I just liked it. I didn't love it, and I do feel like if I read it physically and not in audio, I would enjoy it more. But honestly, I don't think there is something bad in the book. It was okay. I'm just not interested to continue the series. So this is definitely a series that I'm going to DNF and just to release from my mind because I do want to actually read series that I enjoy from. I don't think I will be really interested in it. It was nice. I picked it up because I just got into horror and it was interesting to me to see middle grade in horror. But I don't know, I just forgot about it. I don't want to continue it. I'm just going to DNF it. And then the next series is another series that I read in an audiobook, and this is the series of Once Upon a Con. The first book was Geekerella, and this is by Ashley Poston. I actually really enjoyed the first book. I gave it, I think, 3.5 stars. It was really enjoyable, really fun, but I'm not really interested to continue the series. I think it's better for me just to DNF it because I'm not really interested to keep reading it. It was nice. It's a YA romance, more geeky series, and it was like cute, but I feel like those kind of series I would really enjoy if I was in high school. And I do prefer to read mostly adult books now, especially romance. I feel like adult romance is first of all more relevant to me, and second of all just more fun to me. I don't know, like I don't think it was a younger YA. I felt like it was mature and fun. It was a fun audiobook to listen to, but I don't feel anything special to the series, and I just want to reduce my number of series that I'm reading, so I'm just going to DNF it because I don't think there is a chance that I will actually pick the second book. So yes, it was fun, but not enough. So the next series that I read is actually The Girls of Paper and Fire by Natasha Young. This is the first book in a trilogy. I have here the second book, Girls of Storm and Shadow, and the fourth book is going to be released this year, I think like like next month. It's going to be released really soon. I actually liked Girls of Paper and Fire. I do think it's a really good book. It is more emotional and more hard to read because it deals with hard topics, a lot of trigger warnings, but I feel like the thing that I loved the most was the world building. It's an Asian inspired world building and it's in desert vibe, and just the setting was really different from setting of other fantasy books that I read. I feel like the magic system is really interesting and really unique, but unfortunately I didn't felt something special to the book. Like I didn't felt like I was really connecting with the characters, but it was still enjoyable read. I gave it 3.5 stars. I also feel like I read it pretty fast. It was enjoyable. It made me want to keep reading and to want to know what will be next. And I actually already decided to keep reading the series and to give the second book a chance. I also heard a lot of people didn't love the second book as the first one, and I have a lot of unpopular opinions, so maybe for me it will be the opposite. At least that's what I'm hoping for. I will read it pretty soon. I'm trying to read it for the Deserton that my friend Desmay is hosting, Desert Vibe Books Readathon. Will I read the whole trilogy? I'm not sure. The second book will decide for me if I'm DNFing the series or not, because if it won't be as interesting to me, I just won't read the last book. But I'm really interested to see what is going to happen from now. So I do want to continue the series at least for one more book. But again, I'm not really excited to pick it up. Like I'm not crazy excited to pick it up. I just feel like it will be okay. I do hope to love it more than the first book, and I do give it a chance because of it. But again, I'm not really excited about it. So this is a series that I'm going to continue, but we will see what I will think about it. So the next series is actually a really interesting one because this is The Spellslinger by Sebastian de Castello. There is 6 books in the series. I know that there is a lot of bonus books, prequels, sequels, just a lot of stuff, but the series itself is 6 books, and this is another series that I read only the first book. Now this is a YA fantasy series, and the concept is pretty cool because it's a lot around magic and magicians, and the main character of the story, he's a boy who needs to prove his magic, but he doesn't really know how to control his magic. He's like the least good in his class, and I really loved the book because it was really fast-paced. I gave it 4 stars. It was a really enjoyable read, but I actually picked already the second book. I read something like 100 pages of it, and it was fun, but not as much. This is a series that I'm really debating to actually DNF, and I actually feel bad to do it because I do own the 5 books of the series, not the 6th one, but the 5 books of the series. I own them in my native language. I actually have them physically, so I feel extra bad to DNF them, but I feel like the reason is because it felt to me really young YA. I was really surprised from the plot and from the fast-paced, but the character itself, he was 14, and it's just really young to me, and I do try to read more adult books. It was really fun, but I don't feel like this is those kind of series that I really want to keep reading. Like I'm really debating what to do with this series, because again, it was fun. Logically, I will enjoy also the second book, but I already started to read it, and it was okay, but I didn't really want to continue reading it. I just felt like I'm forcing myself to keep reading it because I enjoyed the first book, but it doesn't mean that I will enjoy the second one. I don't know, it feels pretty young to me. I feel like this is the main reason why I don't want to keep reading this series. I will think about it. We will get to it in the end of the video, I guess. Okay, the next series, another interesting one, and this is Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. I read the first book, 3 stars, it was okay. I liked it, I didn't love it, just okay. And I know everyone says that the second book is the best one. It just gets better and better from here. But I'm not sure that I'm going to love it. I'm really a plot-driven reader, and this series is mostly character-driven. And I know that also in the second book, from what I know, there isn't almost any plot. It's mostly STEM stuff. I'm not sure if to give it a chance or not, because I'm really interested to see what is going to happen and why people say that this is the best book ever. I won't go to it with high expectations, like for sure, because I'm not sure that I'm going to love it. Like Spellslinger, I'm pretty debating if to DNF it or not. So yes, I need to think about it more. I don't have anything against Sarah J. Maas writing. It was nice, but I just didn't felt any connection to the characters. So yes, I just need to think about it. Okay, and the series after it is The Kiss Quanchen. I read it in an audiobook. This is by Helen Hong, and it was actually nice. I feel like it was an enjoyable series. I do want to keep reading the series, but I feel like this is those kind of series that I will read just if I'm in the right mood for this kind of book, because I didn't felt anything special about the writing. It wasn't an amazing book that I just want to keep reading the series and I just have to know what is going to happen next. I'm just not as interested to read it, so I will probably keep reading it, but it's not a top priority for me. It was okay, but nothing more. And the next series is really interesting because this is Caraval by Stephanie Garber. I have Legendary, the second book, and I have also Final, something like this. This is the fourth book. I just can't really get it out because it's in the bottom of a book stack, so forgive me, but this is the first two books. I read Caraval and I hated it. Like, I'm sorry, I gave it 2 stars. I didn't vibe with it at all. I feel like the writing was nice, but I didn't really felt the atmospheric. I understand that the book tried to make it atmospheric, but for me, I couldn't really imagine the atmospheric. I didn't felt like the writing made me actually imagine things. But actually, the main thing that I really didn't enjoy in Caraval were the main characters. I really didn't enjoy the main character and her love interest. I didn't love their plot. They were not interesting to me at all. But I do want to keep reading it. And I also want to keep reading it like pretty high priority. Like, I'm really interested to read it because the character that I wanted to see the most in the first book wasn't in the first book. And also this book is following the sister of the main character of the first book. And I actually really love the sister of the main character. I really loved her personality, just her character in general. And I feel like I will vibe with her character so much more. And I also heard a lot of people that didn't enjoy the first book but really loved the second one. I just feel like the second one will have all the things that I really wanted in the first one and I didn't get. So I do actually really want to keep reading it. Although I really didn't enjoy the first book, like I gave it 2 stars. I'm really interested to read it. But this is another of those series that, no, I'm not sure that I want to read the whole trilogy. I just want to at least start reading the second book just to decide if I want to DNF the series or not. Like, maybe I will start reading it and I will DNF even the book. But I don't know, like, I feel that I will love the second one so much more. So yes, it's a series that I didn't love, but I wish that I will love in the future. And the next series is actually a series that I really loved. And this is Nevermore. This is a middle grade. It was so much enjoyable. I loved it so much. And currently, there is only 3 books out. And I know that this is an ongoing series. I hope that there is going to be a lot of books out. It's going to be a really long series. And I'm reading it in my native language. And currently, only the first 2 books were translated. So the reason that I didn't read the second book yet is because I'm saving it. Like, I'm just not really in a hurry to read the series because it's still an ongoing series. This is a series that I will definitely keep reading, but it will just take me time because it's an ongoing series and I'm just saving the second book for the time that I will be really in this mood because it's really different from the books I read. It's a middle grade, so I need to be in a really middle grade mood, if you understand what I mean. But yes, it was a really fun series. Like, I really enjoyed the first book. Definitely will keep continue reading it, but I'm just saving it because the series isn't over yet. It still keeps going and it will take time for all the books to be released. And the next book is The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is the first book in a trilogy, I think. I noticed the second book was only released, so I'm pretty sure there is going to be a fourth book, but it will take a lot of time for it to be released too. But I am DNFing this series, like, for sure. The first book was okay, but I really loved the start, and I was just so disappointed from the middle and the end. I gave it in the end, I think, 2 stars or 2.5 stars. I won't be reading the rest of the series. It just isn't interesting to me enough. It was fun. I loved the concept. I really loved the writing. Again, the start was so good. I really enjoyed the start. Unfortunately, I was just really disappointed from the end. Again, those kind of books that there is so much build up that I expect so much and then the end just disappoint me so much. So yes, I won't continue reading it. It was okay, but just not for me. Okay, so the next series is a series that I actually really loved. And this is The Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. I read the first book a month and a half ago. I really enjoyed it. This is an urban fantasy and this is a first book in a trilogy. I have the whole trilogy here. Days of Blood and Starlight and Dreams of Gods and Monsters. Will I continue it? Definitely. I really love the first book. The reason that I didn't continue it until now is that last month I had a really busy month and a really hard month and I read mostly short standalones. I couldn't read a long fantasy book. I just wasn't in this place that have this mental capacity to read a fantasy book. And also the series is pretty romance heavy. I really love romance books. Like, obviously I love romance, I love fantasy, but I still feel like this is a really romance heavy book and I need to be in a really romance mood to read it. And a lot of times when I'm in a romance mood, I do look for something more quick and easy. Like, I'm not sure, I really enjoyed it. I really want to keep reading it. In October, I will probably won't read the second book because I am trying to read only spooky books. But like in November, I am planning to keep reading the series. I really enjoyed it. It's really fun, but I'm really excited to pick the second second book. I'm really excited to do it. So it won't take me a lot of time to read the series. So I'm really excited to keep reading it. It was a really good series. And the next series is actually a romance series, a contemporary romance. And this is the Romance Book Club. I enjoyed the first book. Unfortunately, it wasn't 4 stars for me. It was 3.5. I didn't enjoy it as much. But I am really interested to keep reading the series because I really love the concept. Because in this series, men are opening romance book clubs. So they will read romance books and learn how to be more romantic with their partners. So it was a really fun concept. And although I didn't love and adored the first book as I wanted to love it, I do feel like this is just those kind of series that you will love some of the books more and some less. Like the writing is really fun. I vibed really good with the writing, so like I'm pretty sure that the rest of the series, I hope there will be books that I will love more and connect to more. So the second book is Undercover Romance, and I do have the first book here, Crazy Stupid Romance. I think the series has only 4 books. I'm not really in a hurry to read it. I do think I will be reading it in an audiobook. I started to read it physically and I switched to the audiobook. I just enjoyed it more like this. So I do want to keep reading it. I'm just not in a hurry to do it as quick as possible. So just okay. Okay, and the last series is actually a duology. And this is These Witches Don't Bore by Isabel Sterling. The second book is Discover and Won't Break. I will mention this series, although I don't really need to because I only read the first book 2 days ago. So like I didn't have any chance to read the second one. But I loved this book so much. It was so fun, so enjoyable. The main plot here is the fantasy because it's following a witch. And I was expecting for it to be mostly romance, and the romance is a big part, but it was mostly fantasy. Like the fantasy plot was so fun. I enjoyed it so much. So yes, obviously I really want to read the second book. I'm just not really in a hurry to read it because I don't want the series to be over. I just enjoyed it so much. But I will probably read it or this month or next month because I don't want to take too much time with it and forget how much I love the first book. So yes, this is a duology that I really want to keep reading. It's definitely a top priority for me. Yes, I want to finish the whole duology or this month or next month just to read it and enjoy it. And yes, I'm really excited to keep reading it. Okay, so overall, I had 14 series on this list. I DNF'd 4 of them, which is Casa de Black, Once Upon a Pond, and The Inheritance Games. Totally okay with DNFing them. I just want to lower my series reading number. And 2 series, I'm not sure that I want to continue. Like, I'm not sure that I even want to read the second book. And this is Spellslinger and Akutar. I think I'm leaning more to give Akutar a chance. I'm really thinking about DNFing Spellslinger. I will keep the books for those series, but if in the next couple of months and like in the beginning of 2022, I want to get to them, I will just DNF them. Like I will try to get to them, but if I just want to, I will DNF them. From the actual 8 series that I'm currently reading and that I want to keep reading, only 3 of them I'm really excited to keep reading. Nevermore, and I'm not in a hurry to read Nevermore. Daughter of Smoke and Bone, I loved it. Again, I want to take a lot of time to finish the series. My goal is before 2021 is over. And the 4th one is These Witches Don't Bore. Again, I will finish reading it this month or next month because I have only 1 book to finish the duology. And then I have 3 books that I'm not as excited to read, but I do want to keep reading because I think that I will really enjoy them. I just don't really want to pick them up. And 2 series that like I feel about them because I'm not sure that I actually want to finish the trilogy. I will give the second book a chance, but it will decide if I will DNF the series or not. But yes, I feel like overall my problem is that I do have a lot of series, but first of all, not a lot of them are like fantasy series. I have a lot of romance series and thriller series, and usually fantasy series are my most favorite ones. Yes, I just feel like I am excited to read those series, but not all of them. I don't have a lot of series that I'm really excited to read, and I'm actually okay with even doubling up number of series that I have if it will mean that I will actually read series that I really love. So yes, I'm happy that I DNF'd some series. I do have now actually a list to look on, which is so much more organized. And yes, it was really fun to share it with you. I really want to know, what about you? You have a lot of series that you are reading, or you usually really good with tracking your series and not reading too many series at the same time. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it was fun for you. It was pretty different, but I just wanted like to understand which series I'm actually in the middle of reading. And yes, until my next video, you can check more videos by me, and I will see you in the next video. Bye everyone!